Well, hello there, Haylet Nation. Welcome back to Haylet RV. Today we've got a really cool, smaller mid-bunk Cougar fifth wheel for you. Depending on what options you build onto, it's going to be plus or minus the 8,700 pound mark. I know these are called the Cougar half-ton. That is more the name. It does generally try to suggest the idea of half-ton towability. That being said, on a fifth wheel like this, I feel much better with owners who have a 3/4 ton pickup. Now, obviously, every truck, trailer, and hitch combination should really be, and driver, really, should be investigated individually. So if you need help trying to figure out exactly what your vehicle can or cannot tow, please just give our team here a call. In return for the fair opportunity to earn your business, we're always happy to dig into that. Now, if I seem a little bit distracted or unnerved this morning, this is actually the second time I've gone out and I've captured all this footage. Now, my wife and my daughter will both confirm for you that sometimes I make dumb mistakes. And evidently, I went out, I recorded this whole darn thing, I created the video, and I just never posted it. And evidently, it's been deleted for so long, my deleted items went ahead and recycled it. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it better, stronger, longer. We're going to make the best Cougar footage we can. I'm not just going to try to piecemeal something together. And if you're noticing, the weather today is kind of like my memory. It's getting a little bit hazy. And I actually want to kick things off inside by almost looking at this thing backwards of how I normally would. Like, there's the main entry door, but I want to do it because this floor plan it's a Unicornosaurus Rex. Ladies and gentlemen, it just breaks all the rules. I don't know how they did it. Cougar has some of the most creative people on their team I think I've ever seen. And they figured out a way to kind of make things like a bunk room, a kitchen, this stuff overlap in a way that had just not really been seen before. And the end result is something that still has all those awesome door side windows that you, me, and everybody love. They do have roller blackout shades like a Montana High Country, by the way, which is kind of cool. But they did this thing in a way that still gives us a good living room and a great kitchen. Weirdly, this trailer has like one of the best kitchens I think I've ever seen, especially in a smaller fifth wheel like this. I don't know that you necessarily have to worry about family-specific camping in this RV. I think that it could work for individuals who maybe just have guests, or if you're looking for a private office. There's a lot of different ways you could utilize this one. The fact that it is now completely carpetless is certainly something that a lot of folks enjoy. There is storage below that dinette, and there are household outlets under that table as well. And once again, looking over here, enjoying my campsite, not enjoying the, shirtless, sweaty neighbor, whose name is probably something like Josh the RV Nerd. I don't know, I'm just saying. You get the idea. But like I said, what is awesome over here is this thing has one of the best kitchens I've seen. So first of all, what we're looking at right there is one of the newer options available in the Cougar family, that 12-volt DC compressor fridge. It is significantly larger. I can barely speak. Significantly large, and I almost laughed like Scooby-Doo right there. You get the idea. Let me try again. Significantly larger, there we go, than the standard two-way fridge that we'd see here. It's also faster cooling, doesn't have to be level, and it is safe to use in transit. But look at the counter space. And the windows! I love windows around kitchen counters like that. It's nice to not feel like you're boxed in a corner when you're doing all the prep work. But the storage here, it's actually going to take us a couple passes because everywhere there's counter space, they put storage below it. And I feel very confident, there's got to be someone on the Cougar design team who actively camps, because where they chose to add a shelf versus where they didn't, giving you space for a big wastebasket that a lot of RVs, especially in this class, just don't. Somebody had their thinking cap on straight. But if you're really looking, you might be wondering, what is under that corner countertop space? Why can't I get to it? And basically, when we go outside, keep an eye on that corner, and you're going to see there's, for lack of a better phrase, stuff back there in the way. Now, that is a stainless double sink. They've given us two nice big sink basins. Cougars have also recently in recent years, yeah, good job, Josh. I don't even know what my wife sees in me half the time. But she has X-ray vision, so I literally don't know what she sees in me. Anyway, they've bulked up on their holding tank capacities, is what I was going to say. This is all full wood core, what I call better still style cabinetry, pocket screwed. You can see the hidden hinges, all hardwood cabinet doors there. And that whole accent rear wall, it gets me every time. And that little spice rack, also a nice place to keep your phone out of the way. Speaking of handy things on the rear wall, this switch with the blue backlight up here. This RV has the in command system, and I'm going to spin you around. I'm going to try to do it slowly so I don't make you sick. In command, the panel's located actually up the stairs over by the door. Well, I don't want to have to walk over there just to turn the lights off and on. Well, guess what, Carol Baskin? You ain't gotta. They thought of that. They still have a dedicated living room and bedroom light switch. But what's cool is now I have a light switch in the middle of the RV. I have a light switch on the back of the RV. I have a light switch in the front of the RV. I got switches wherever, the itching takes me in a given moment. And the prescription for that powder itch cream is coming up due anyway. Somebody help me out with that. Anyway, sealed edge countertop over here, keeping the water from intruding anywhere, which, considering this is a, high water usage area, makes a lot of sense. Now, the RV is not level currently, so it does not want to cooperate with me. That's also a symptom of the hidden hinges. They want to keep themselves closed. Like, if I open this partially, it wants to mostly close itself. It might not always latch, but will still help make sure that stuff doesn't pop out of there in transit. But the thing here is, you don't have a lot of overhead cabinetry where you got to worry about stuff falling in transit. It's pretty minor. It's pretty small. You'll probably have some loose, lightweight stuff in there. Your big, bulky cabinetry is over here, or if I spin you around a little bit, next to this refrigerator. They have a floor to ceiling pantry and a couple little bonus pockets above the fridge and the microwave. They ran the cabinetry all the way up to this tapered roofline ceiling here. They just didn't waste a single bit of space on it. And that brings us over here to the entertainment area. And the fact that there's really no bad seat in this living room or kitchen space with the way that big 4K ultra high def TV Jumbotron, especially when you're on the theater seat, you are directly across from that thing. If you have vision-related challenges, you will certainly enjoy the entertainment on this thing. I tell you, what I would enjoy on a rainy day, I'd have the Nintendo Switch hooked up to that thing, and my family would be going crazy. Actually, probably not. On a rainy day, we would most likely be, we tend to leave the campsite when we'll find like a local attraction, like a museum or something like that, and try to put some culture into my daughter, and probably me as well. I also want to take a special moment to point out the optional theater seat that we've applied to this RV. This is the way that we generally like to build them here. The standard sofa in this floor plan is a hide-a-bed. The thing is, though, I don't like a hide-a-bed right there, and I understand it can give you more sleeping, but this RV already has a private sleeping space, plus you could always use the dinette for a little guest. But during the day, that entertainment it's just begging for a theater seat right there. The other thing is, if a hide-a-bed is open, it's gonna cut the camper off. You have to climb over whoever's using the hide-a-bed, which means you just lost 2/3 of your camper. I don't like that idea. Now, if you disagree with me, that's awesome. That's fine. Actually, if you do, if you like it, if you dislike it, leave me a comment. Tell me, do you like theater? Do you like hide-a-bed right here? I'd love to know. But the way that it just kind of makes more sense to me this way. Now, if you don't care what I think, which I fully respect, I don't blame you. Fact is, we'll get you one with a hide-a-bed. It doesn't matter. And by the way, electric space heating fireplace over there, taking the nip out of the air without burning up your propane. What you're going to see is this RV already has a hide-a-bed. It's in the middle room. Also, on the way there, right when you walk in the door, you got this handy little boot bench, which is just useful for 100 different things. My wife and daughter call it Dad's timeout chair. Not because I get in trouble or anything. I joke about that a lot. Mostly because I get in the door, I get playing with my phone, and I tend to freeze in place. Anybody else do that? You're walking halfway through the room, you stop moving directly in front of the television, everybody else yells at you. I also like the fact that you can hang some coats up here right by the entry door. And people who watch your videos regularly, tell me, what are those called right there? You know the answer. Now, in the middle here, what's cool about this floor plan, you don't have to use this middle room right here. You always have a great kitchen, a nice living room. But if you have guest space, or if one of you has sleep apnea and you can't sleep together, or another thing is, what if, let's say you have say a mother-in-law, a father-in-law, someone who, lives with you for living assistance, perhaps an adult child with special needs. They need their own private quiet space. Perhaps an autistic child needs a quiet place to close the door, maybe put on some noise-canceling headphones, and just relax a little bit. Everybody camps. Everybody camps differently. There's no one right way or wrong way to do it. So this could be an extra living room. It could be a den. It could be an office. But, you could also just sleep people in here. And that bunk is 300-pound rated, by the way, so kind of keep that in the back of the memory banks. And this hide-a-bed, when it opens up, it will utilize every square inch. You can see the cushion actually does squish a little bit right there. But the fact is, you can sleep 2 or 3 people in here independently. Now, remember, it is tight quarters when that thing is open, but the idea, the camera does not like that window. The idea behind this floor plan is the fact that it is not one of these 37-foot, 13,000-pound giant mid-bunk fifth wheels. Instead, it's something that is intentionally designed to be smaller and more compact. So, little things like this kind of go with the territory, but the thing is, I think you actually have more storage in this one versus those 13,000-pound, 37-foot giant fifth wheel mid-bunk models. Check this out in here. This RV has this huge closet and triple dresser array. Don't forget you got a bonus shelf all the way up there. Very good for keeping handy things for the kids, but things you don't want the kids to get their hands on. You know what I mean? And anyone who has a kid knows exactly how much space they occupy. We were a one-and-done household. We just have the one kid. But I tell you, I love you, baby girl, but holy cow, you occupy 2/3 of the house. Now you can see you have TV hookups up there. Be a little smart about that, though, because when this slide out closes, the slide fascia will come very close to that wall. There is room to put a TV up there. I do highly recommend, though, a quick removable TV bracket. Take the TV down in transit and do something like tuck it under the cushions of the sofa. I want to make sure that you folks are proactively aware of not just the benefits of any RV that we have here at Haylett RV, but also the potential little points of concern. I want you to get your second camper the first time. I want you to have a good experience with it. I don't want it coming back for service, especially some unintended, self-inflicted damage. If you appreciate that, hit that little subscribe button, follow along with us, because we've always got handy information like that coming along from our family-owned shop here. And they have a very, Montana-inspired bathroom in this, and that is nothing but a good thing. Cougar and Montana are actually the 2 most popular fifth wheels in the history of RVing. There is no other fifth wheel brand that has ever eclipsed either of those in, the total of their lifetimes. And they work hand in hand together. There's a very logical handoff between them. What I do like, though, is this design. It has that porcelain foot flush stool. You can see I've got great leg room around that. There's that corner seat there in the shower if you need to sit to bathe or maybe shave legs, something like that. Nice place to hang a towel, but not a cabinet over your head that you might bang your head against when you stand up. Great linen space in here, which is amazing. There are actually some big fifth wheels. They have begun to do little things like remove the doors in the linen cabinets of a bathroom. Notice that they're still doing the full Monty here, which is actually what I call the big Montana, not the high country's full Monty. Kind of like there was good leg room. There's good headroom here in this shower. The triple sliding glass panel door is clear, and then they accent the shower wall. And I love that they do that. It makes the whole room look and feel a little larger, a little jazzier, a little classier. Speaking of jazz, that's what Cougar feels like they're doing. They're not playing by the rules. They're improvising. Jazz. And I wanted to just show you here real quick every little thing that I could. Now, they do have some of your plumbing pipes right there in that vertical cabinet. It is still a handy place where you could put some extra paper towel or, toilet paper. Paper towels. I hope you're not putting paper towel down your RV toilet. That is a bad idea. I do not recommend that. Good adult size sink you can get both your hands into. Decent counter space. And that is a full medicine cabinet, not just a mirror glued against the wall. Now, if I slide down, we look up together. You're going to see it has just a normal traditional style blade fan here in the bathroom. That is enough for one room, but if you are interested in things like fan upgrades, we do those all day, every day, no problem at Haylett RV. Accessory modifications like that is simple screwdriver work we can complete for you.
Guys, I just had a great idea for a new channel. It's called On the Stool with the RV Tools, starring Josh the RV Nerd. I'm aiming for the #1 or #2 time slot.
Thank you, you two. Good night.
Now, one of the things I really pride myself on is the ability to say I was wrong. And I've been apparently unintentionally incorrect about some Cougar bed sizing, but only very recently. A couple of viewers came in and they said, Josh, I've measured some of those Cougars. They're short camp queens. And I walked out and I measured the Cougars that we had in stock. I said, no, they're not. They're 80-inch true queens. I'm sorry. Well, here's the thing. We were both kind of right. The campers that I was measuring, they did have 80-inch true queens. But what we are looking at right now, the way Cougars are built at the time of this filming, which understand could change, is with a short queen. The reason that this is the case, they had 60 by 80 true queens in these, but they felt it was really getting tight against the wall. You were doing the butt scoop boogie against the wall. Now they're trying to keep this series of Cougar, compact, small, whereas what I call big cat Cougar, they don't mind going big bed slides and stuff like that as much. Here's the thing though, it's still true queen capable, and it's absolutely nothing just to swap a mattress around. You don't need to change, modify, subtract, saw off, anything like that. So currently, we are looking at a camp queen. I am sorry if I've unintentionally given people errant information, but that is a more recent change. Who knows what they'll do in the future? This is what they're doing right now. Either side stand, though, I like how their bedroom is symmetrical. You've got household and USB outlets on both sides of this. Now, if you were in this in person and you looked up close at those household outlets over there, you're actually going to see a sticker that says something like OTG. Cougar is down with OTG. That means off the grid, baby. And they are pre-prepped for an inverter. That is one of 3 outlets, another one being one in the kitchen and I believe one in the living room of this RV, will be pre-prepped to be inverter powered. Now, it doesn't have an inverter standard, but it's ready for one. There's also USB outlets in there, and it's super CPAP friendly. You don't feel like you're claustrophobic inside of this thing. I like what they're doing here. I also want to mention this specific RV that we're looking at today does not have the second air conditioner installed. All Cougar fifth wheels, all Cougars, frankly, are 50 amp service, but all their fifth wheels specifically are second air ready. And that is something that we can definitely do for you here at Haylett RV. So enough yakking. Let's start cracking open the storage. Yeah, I like that. I like that. You can see here a nice chunk, like big storage chest with a plywood easy lift deck below the bed. Then both side stands have like a storage pocket below them. I think that'd be real handy for some things like some shoes, little kind of funky shaped clutter things in there. Now, these are not hanging closets on the sides of the upper cabinet spaces. That is all just like open cabinet, general, dresser type space. Your hanging space will be over here, where you have a triple drawer wardrobe. Well, yeah, I guess that does apply because there are 3 drawers below it. I meant door. 3-door wardrobe with a full hanging rod through the top of it, and there are no partitions in that, so you can pack that thing like crazy. Now, since they put the triple dresser drawers down below that, they created a shelf within the closet, which in and of itself is another layer of potential storage that they put in here. I love what they're doing with that. And, by the way, once again, you have a light switch over here, and in case you're curious what the thing above the light switch is, that is the thermal sensor that talks to the in-command system. So if you're laying in bed, you're too hot, you're too cold, you can grab your phone, you can crank the air up and down. You don't even have to put on pants. And anytime I don't have to put on pants, I'm a happy camper.
Those people at Walmart sure don't appreciate it, though. They ain't got no sense of humor.
Now, I always want to do everything I can to go above and beyond for folks. I'd like to think that exceptional comes standard at Haylett RV, and that means showing you these RVs with the slides closed. You see that the bed doesn't shift. You'll maintain full use of the bed. And I'll, again, always give you some cautionary advice. Make sure you have those doors over there closed before you close that slide. That is a really nice part of in-command, by the way. I can stand here and watch that slide close by using my phone so I make sure nothing is damaged. Obviously, the bathroom with no slides in the way will be completely unimpeded. Trick is, like most mid-bunks, and remember, when you take a 37-foot RV concept like a middle bunk bonus room and you jam it down into something this size and stuff starts overlapping, it comes with a little bit of a concession, and that is travel access to the living space and the kitchen area. Now, that being said, this type of slide system, it could be opened, 9, 12, 18 inches, whatever you need. You could slip back there and do whatever you got to do. It's okay to do that short term. Don't do it long term. It won't hurt the slide to do that. And I also mentioned in here, you got to be a little cautious of the slide fascia when that closes. Now, the trick is my camera's a little too wide, so let me snake it in there without making you motion sick. Here's the kind of space that you have available for a TV if you mount one up there. Again, a lot of flat screens will fit, but I do think it's a better idea to get a quick release like TV bracket, and then again, just like stuff it under those cushions in transit and you should have no problems. Now, to begin with outside, you got your whole family here. Maybe it's a rainy day, you don't want everyone cooped up inside. Those split awnings, well, even on a sunshiny day, nice to have all that extra patio space. Once again, all those tasty windows over here in the door side, all of which also open for maximum airflow. Now, something I don't talk about very often, but in case you're curious, Cougar does still offer frameless windows. When you get the frameless windows on the Cougar, they are the dual panes, and they look absolutely fantastic. But they're quite spendy by comparison, and they don't get as much airflow. Jayco, Eagle HT, and frankly, a lot of brands have adopted that kind of A-B sort of option there. Now, we've got ourselves an anti-slam door. You see that bigger handle for coming and going right there. I want to show you a couple of things on these steps. A few you're probably familiar with by now, and maybe a few you're not. These are the new, quick, simple, there's a little button right here. Tap it, easy adjust kind of extension leg. Even with just one hand, I can operate these steps. You know, all you got to do is unlock it there real quick. But before I do that, I want to show you here. Some of these stable steps have a gas strut to make them easy to lift up and down, some that do not. The ones that do not, which is what we're looking at, have these little pins where if you want to, you can pull those and you can actually totally remove the steps and free them from the camper. And if you do that, if you're like at a storage facility where you don't have enough room for the steps to swing open past the door, you could actually remove the steps, slide them down in place under the skirt line of the trailer next to you, and then reattach them, which is kind of a cool thing. And there's some people who maybe just want to build like a deck on a permanent site, and they don't want these stable steps in the way. Well, now they don't have to be. Something else I want to show you, though. Oop, I forgot it's locked over here. Even with just one hand, even without the gas strut, this is still not hard to operate. And if you're on uneven ground, each of these legs can operate independently, even when you're wearing my Michigan hybrid mittens over here to keep my little lady fingers from freezing. Double mag to hold backs, double slam latches. Sorry, I obviously don't think very highly of, my hands. And we've got ourselves a large compartment. This is something Cougar revised a little while ago, about a year and a half ago, and it has dramatically opened up and increased their pass-through storage capacity. They got all the pipes out of the pass-through. There's not a whole lot of ways that you can really pick apart and criticize a Cougar from a functional standpoint. Motion lighting over here in the pass-through, TV hookups, our in-command brain system right there. One of the cool things about having that out here is, let's say hypothetically something happens that damages that touch screen, or you don't want to go digital and Bluetooth and all that stuff. You don't want to be, a techno wizard just to run your RV. You can still operate any motors basically on the RV from that panel down there. There's still physical switches you can access. And even here on what I call little cat Cougars versus big cat full Cougar, you're still getting a shock dampening pin box and suspension system. They still do a lot of the same treatments here that you get on like a Montana. They use almost the same type of suspension and all kinds of things. It's pretty cool what they're doing. Now, in the front compartment here, this is where they hide the spare tire, which is nice because it's out of the weather. And in case you're curious, they give you just a big old battery box there, but I like how they still put some terminals on top so that if for some reason your battery is low, it's easy to jump something to it. You don't have to constantly open and unscrew the whole thing. You can see how they are not pre-cracking their fiberglass where they're expecting potential stress cracks below that bed slide. It's just something that they've gotten rid of. And actually, it's one of the reasons in the last couple of years, Cougars have actually gotten a little bit heavier than they used to because they bulked up their framework, And frankly, if you look at old Cougars, they never had structural issues. It's just that they wanted to be better, and I respect that. We are side and rear view prepped for cameras, which is fantastic. That way you can see me coming and going. See, Here's a pro tip from your Uncle Josh, the RV nerd. I actually don't recommend this. I'm just being joking. If your propane empties overnight, what you do is you wait till the neighbors go to sleep, and then you borrow one of theirs. Also, I learned that from my Uncle Gary, who I talk about in my videos all the time, who's currently doing 5 to 7 for petty larceny, so maybe that's not the best advisory after all. We are side and roof solar prep. So if you got a portable panel and you want to chase the sun with it and park the camper in the shade, you can. Or if you just want that big roof panel, if you choose to add one, to soak up all the sun, you can. Now, motion lighting up there, you see the outside shower hookup, and we've got the little hose connection over here, kind of like the rainbow connection, but not at all the same, actually, with a little residential hose fitting there. Automatic leveling, standard, easy reach controls. And this over here, that is the prep point if you choose to add a solar panel. That's where the controller would go. Now, another thing is this RV is also inverter prepped. Now, a bunch of RVs are starting to do that, and Cougar is the reason why. Now, I'm going to take my glove off for just a second here so I can kind of do a better job of showing you something, maybe. I don't even know. Little differences on Cougars. I love this stuff. And this is something I see at Keystone that I don't really see from almost any other brand. When water washes down the sidewall, it is inclined to wick under the floor a little bit. And a little bit of that does not hurt anything. But Keystone does a cool thing. This piece of trim, if you feel with your fingernails sometime when you visit a dealership like Haylett RV, there's a groove right there. And that inversion groove is actually making water bead and drip. So they're making sure that even less of it gets into your slide subflooring. They have triple seal action. It sounds like something from a 1980s action figure. Triple seal action with authentic dyno damage. You get the idea. The idea there being obviously to make sure they are keeping as much water away from the interior RV as absolutely possible. Sweet looking aluminum wheels. And this again is that nice suspension system that, a lot of RVs, people don't tend to consider this when they're purchasing. That nicer road armor shackle right there. It is something that takes so much of the shock, bump, and jolt out of the towing experience. It's just not even funny. That's why I'm not laughing. It ain't funny, guys. A lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff. Maybe someone who's never done this, they don't understand there's even a difference there. That's why I want to point these little things out. I know my videos run long. I know that they get kind of detailed like that. But, man, if you're serious about doing this, this is information you want to tune into. Like reverse lighting. Most brands don't offer you that little safety feature. All LED tail end markers. Little sewer hose caddy. There's some serious final owner features in here that really add up to something that, if you're going to be a little more than just a casual, interested person, if you're very serious about doing this, those are things you might appreciate. 2-inch receiver hitch on the back with a 300-pound rating. Perfect if you want to add a bike rack or small cargo pod, little portable generator if you want to get off grid even longer. It's a perfect place to be able to put all that stuff. And it is cold, but we haven't had any rain, so I think I'll actually be able to get up on that roof and stay safe. And safety before the sale, that is a big deal for us here at Haylett RV, especially when we start talking about fifth wheels. Kind of like when I began this video, I went out of my way to tell people I think that this is going to be better suited for at least a 3/4 ton pickup. A lot of places won't. A lot of salespeople are not properly trained to know the fact that the RV says Cougar half ton. And yes, in theory, a really specifically heavy-duty equipped half ton could theoretically handle this RV. But that's not the half ton that most of us have and drive every day. So if you appreciate the fact that we put safety before the sale here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a little note saying, hey, thanks for taking care of us, guy. And we'll keep doing it. Now, if you ever do go fifth wheel shopping someplace and you're talking to the person and you say, hey, I'm thinking of this fifth wheel or that fifth wheel, and one of the very first questions they don't offer is, well, what's your tow vehicle? They're not interested in keeping you safe. They just are trying to get the sale. Sorry. I would say I climbed on top of a soapbox, but I, literally climbed on top of some roofing here. So, this is where the roof solar prep plug is located. Now, if you watch a lot of my videos, usually when I'm shooting my footage, I'm up here on the roof almost immediately after the RVs are built, because we are so local to the manufacturers that, first of all, we don't have high shipping rates, but secondly, the RVs have not yet had a chance to off gas. And a lot of people will look at the roofing and say, oh man, there's bubbles all over the place. And I always tell people that's because it has to breathe out and off gas. You see how there's none of that bubblage going on right here, guys? I'm not just making that up. These things have to breathe. There's a lot of different gases and materials and reactions that take place when these are first built, and they have to kind of settle out. And if you look at this, this looks like a perfectly smoothed bed sheet versus a bed sheet that was only just put in place. Now, we've actually taken some flack for our roofing at Haylett RV because a couple of them do have some of those bubbles around the vents and stuff. Well, it's kind of funny because every single RV has that same thing, but we're one of the only places that will actually get up on the roof and show you this stuff. So in a way, it was kind of a problem of our own creation, but as you see, there's no bubblage going on here. So once again, I'm not just making all that up. Now, the antenna system on this can also be upgraded to an LTE system, and these little white hockey puck jobs that we're looking at, those are roof attic vents right there. And what that's going to do is, we talk all the time, people ask, are they Four Seasons? Is it a cold camper? And yes, Cougars are, but the fact is, 99% of us spend 99% of our time in the sunshine. And Cougars are made for that. And they're actually rated and tested up to 110 degrees. The combination of the roof attic vents, the polar white roof membrane, the white skin, all the radiant barrier package, the thicker 2-inch walls that I forgot to talk about at ground level. Cougars are one of the best suited RVs, whether it's a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, for hot climate camping, which is, I think, a bigger deal for most people than cold climate camping, which Cougars are still okay for. Very good, in fact. So, if you're looking for all the mid-bunk with none of the length junk, take a look at this Cougar and give our team here at Haylett RV a call. So, leave us some comments, please. Let us know what you saw that you liked. If I missed anything on my second pass around through this thing, I cannot believe I did that. Not the dumbest thing I've ever done, but certainly not the smartest. If I've missed anything, leave me a question. I'll do my best to answer that for you. Or if there's something that maybe you'd like to see changed or different, shoot me that too. You never know what we can accomplish together by getting some feedback to the manufacturers. Now, as always, remember, we only do everything at Haylett RV. Our family-owned and operated facility would love the opportunity to meet and work with you. And short of that, remember that we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Haylett camping, everyone. Appreciate it very much.